Hey everybody, it's Robert, and we're back. It's about just about 2 o'clock. Oh well, no, 1 o'clock. Oh my God, we used to do these trains at 2 o'clock, so I'm so used to having the 2 o'clock sit in front of me here. Well, thank you all for coming back. We got some fresh faces and some familiar faces. So, how do you guys do with the first class this morning? Anybody completely brain dead from that? Dave, Alexander, you good? All right, all right. Steven, you with us? Okay. Tell you what, we're gonna put Steven in the put Steven in the old waiting room there. You know, for those of you on Facebook, you're looking at a different screen. Let's just put it that way. There, you're looking at a different screen. So, all right, glad to have you all here with me. And we're going to be talking now about contacts, the heart of your database. Now, this is the third week of the month here, and we've revamped the way that we're doing the Command 101 classes a little bit. And what we've got now is we got 4 classes instead of 8. But what we're doing with those 4 classes is we're being more purposeful, that 4 or 5, depending on how many weeks are in a month. And we're going to be focusing on
limbo.
the contact.
You did, right? You put me in limbo. You stopped the video.
Hey, yeah, come on back in.
I'm trying, but you said the host has stopped it.
Try that.
The host has asked you to start your video. Okay.
There it is.
Well,
all right, welcome back.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. You're fine. You're fine. Okay, so like I said, we've compressed the classes here so that we're getting a month worth of classes in the 4 weeks here, and 4 or 5 weeks, and so we're going to be going a little bit more streamlined. We're going to be going contact to contract. That's essentially what the new 101 series looks like. So glad to have you here with this. We're going to be talking a little bit today. I'll go ahead and reshare the screen here with you so that you can see what we're going to talk about in this particular class. And that is going to be contacts connect everything in your database. So when we're looking at the contact area of the database, it really does connect to all areas within the program. So that's something that's going to be looked at very closely here, and why that's so important. And, you know, the whole thing's called contacts, the heart of your database, for a reason. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to walk through the contact card, and there's a lot of information on there. So we're going to walk through every little tiny bit of everything in there, and then we're going to break out and go back and look at importing contacts. We won't actually do an import because my database has already got stuff in it, but I will point you also to an importing contacts video that will walk you through an actual import. But we're going to be talking about that. Then we're going to look at the contact timeline, take a little more detail look at that, and show you all of the things that are in that timeline. We're going to connect contacts to opportunities so we understand the relationship between those and why it's so important that we have the contacts fully flushed out before we start working with opportunities. And then I'm going to give you some tips, and one of the tips today is we're going to be talking about the power of notes. Camille, welcome. Nice to have you here with us. So that's what we're going to be going over. And if you have any questions, I've got you on the Facebook here. I've got you on the Zoom here. So feel free to jump in and ask any questions. And I'm going to be happy to answer them. So we got all the chat windows open up, everything. Yay. Okay. So let's go ahead and switch it over. So I'm going to switch to, command. Okay, so what we've got there in command, and then we'll go ahead and switch that over on that side, and everybody's seeing it now. All right. So in command, when we come in, of course, we briefly did this a little bit earlier today when we did the DocuSign class, but we're going to slow down and be more deliberate about what we're going to be talking about. So from the home screen in command, and I know, Alexander, you are going to be joining us as a new agent. So when you start looking at this is going to be kind of like your general overview of some of the things in command, most specifically on the contact side, which is really where everything happens. But when you come into command, one of the first things you're going to want to do is learn what these different things are on the side. But you don't have to memorize them, because you can always click the little red KW up here in the corner and see what the names of each of these different applets is, and save yourself a little bit of time trying to fish around for that stuff.
Bob, is
So
there any chance that you make that screen a little bit bigger?
it's full screen right now.
Okay, all right.
Um, you're on the Zoom, so you see it full screen, right?
Well, I see the four of us and the screen on the left side, like three quarters. So I
Okay,
change the view.
yeah, if you take between the screen and the people, you can take that dividing line and right in the middle, you can actually click on it and drag it to the right to make the people smaller and the screen bigger.
Oh yeah, color you guys going.
Okay, fair enough.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so the main home page here, what we're going to be focusing on as we get in here is the contacts area. So I'm going to jump right into the contacts area, and that's where we're going to spend most of our time here today. Now, on the front page of the contacts, you're always going to see a little bar that says "Welcome to the new contacts" or whatever they've got there, that little announcement. Just go ahead and get rid of that, and then we'll have a full screen here. So I'm going to walk you through this front page a little bit briefly because there's actually a lot going on here, and I'm going to show off the tips here more than I am going to show off a lot of the functionality, because there's some things that are really important to know about how to make this work for you. And so the first thing we're going to talk about is, the contacts are displayed right now in a table format, just like an Excel spreadsheet. But you can actually switch that. Nobody does, because these two buttons right here, the list view and the card view, nobody really looks at their contacts in card view because it doesn't utilize the space very well. So you've got a great view into one contact. So you can see, I only can see 3 contacts on this one view here. So that's not a very practical view there. So I switch it back over to the list view, and I find that to be more effective. Now, in the list view itself, across the top with these headers are actually sortable. Not all of them, and depending on which ones you have and which ones you're viewing. But these headers, when you see the little arrow, you can actually sort up and down by clicking the header, and it will go alphanumeric in reverse order and kind of flip it around for you. So that's a handy tool if you've got a view that shows you a lot of stuff and you want to see it sorted. And you can do it any one of these views that has that little arrow next to it. And once you've sorted a column, just like in Excel, you'll see that the column has that little arrow on it now to indicate that it's been done that way. The next thing that I want to talk about here in this front screen is if you're using tags, which you should be, and I will be happy to direct you to one of the videos discussing tags. If you're using tags and in your view, if you say, for example, you want to see in my case, all of the agents who are in New Hampshire, if there's in your view, if you see a New Hampshire tag like what I'm looking at here, and you say, you know what, I want to see all the people with that tag. If you click on that tag, it will automatically create a filtered view, and it will immediately show you all of the people in your database that have that tag. Boom. You just created an instant sort and filter. And you can see that the filter button over here has been turned on. And so when you click that filter, what we call a filter drawer, slides out. And you can see, in fact, a filter was created just by clicking on that New Hampshire tag. And then you can view those people without having to create this. Now, to clear that filter, to get rid of that, you just click, once again, I'll show you here, you click on that filter on button. It brings out the drawer that has all the filters in it. And then down at the bottom left, you can click on clear all. And that will take any of the filters out, and it will reset it back, and you can click OK, and it will put it back to its normal view. So those are some quick little tips that you can do in this window, sorting and filtering very, very quickly. Additionally, you can do bulk edits. You can select as many people that are in the view at any given time. And when you do that with this little checkbox here on the top row, you'll see a bulk action option light up. And this is super powerful if you want to add a bunch of tags to the group that you have in your view. If you want to remove tags, this was a new feature that they just added about 3 or 4 weeks ago. We always had the ability to bulk add tags, but now we can actually remove tags. Very smart. In addition, there's all of these different options here. And so I'm not going to go through each one of these. They're kind of self-explanatory. So we'll just kind of let you walk through those. Some of the big ones are, of course, adding to email lists, exporting, and doing some other stuff there. Okay. So the bulk action, though, you'll notice only impacts the amount of people that are in the current view. And when I click that little checkbox, it says up here that I selected 500. And the reason I selected 500, if I go all the way across that bar on the top, is my current view is set to show me 500 contacts at a time. And if I had set to the default, but by the way, your default view, which is not this, is set to 10 contacts at a time. So if I show 10 out of 974, I've got a lot of pages to go through. It also means that if I do a bulk selection, I'm only going to get 10 people selected because that's how many people are in the current view. So using the show amount of contacts in addition to the bulk tool can be a very powerful combination to get you selecting and doing actions to multiple contacts. So let's go back to that select view here where we see how many we have in a view at a time. I typically show 500, but I will be honest with you, it does slow down the display a little bit. If you're in a hurry and you find yourself, in this view and you're constantly working around, it might be better for you to select, like 25 at a time. The system will run just a tad bit faster because all those contacts that were in that 500 list, when you scroll down, you're going to see 500 as you scroll. Even though they're not visible, they're loaded, and that takes memory. So sometimes that can slow your machine down a little bit. If you already have a slow machine, I would leave it on a low number. Okay, in this area here, we can also customize our columns by clicking on that Customize Column button just to the left of the list and card view right here. And when you do this, it's going to show you on the left, all the ones with the checkboxes are currently visible. So everything with a checkbox is being shown. And you can see there's a bunch more additional fields that I could put into my view. The problem is, if you put too many in there, you have to scroll to the right to see them. So you can create your own views with just the information that you need. So if you don't need some of this, if you don't need a signee, you don't need owner, and you don't need last contact or recently active, you can uncheck those things and it will save you a little bit of space. In addition, if you want to see things in a certain order, you can come over here to the column view and just drag the columns to the order in which you want them. So all this is great, and I'm going to go ahead and bring in here, let's say primary phone, primary email. We got to go back to the top for that. Primary phone, email, and tags. Okay, so I'm going to put that in my view here and save that, and you'll see that it will reset my view, primary phone, primary email, and tags. All right, now, if you remember the old show Lost in Space, Danger Will Robinson, for those of you who remember this. When you create a custom view like this, whether it be using the filters, whether it be using the columns, the customization, any of these tools, if you do not save that view, if you leave this page and come back, that view will be reset to whatever is set as the default smart view, because these are all considered smart views. Basically, they're stored views. This button right here in the top where it says Manage Smart Views, if I drop this down, I can see that all contacts is my current default, and it's actually been modified. I've made my own version of that, and I can click this button to return it back to its original view. Plus, I have a bunch of other views that I have created, and also some views that were built automatically and loaded for you by Keller Williams, which are also customizable. So playing around with the views can really be a powerful tool. And I'm going to bring up one here just to kind of show you one of the things that makes it so powerful. I have a view here called Directory. Now I'm going to show you that view. So I'm going to click on my drop down, I'm going to slide down, and I'm going to find the view that my little smart view called Directory. And I'm going to click on it. And what you see here is the filter has been turned on, and it's currently showing me people that have some kind of filter, MC leadership. So the MC leadership tag is now showing me all of the people with that tag of market center leadership. So including myself and Colin. Colin is one of our compliance officers. So if you use this as a directory, you can actually put all the people in our office inside your database, tag them, and then create a view so that you can get direct access to the names and numbers of everyone at our market center. Now, that's just one example. And if you think about it, if you have people that all work at a single company, maybe you've got a lot of friends who work at, Eddie Bauer or something like that, and you've got them all in your database. And this might have come from your previous life and different things that you've done in your different careers or friends and things like that. You can organize them by those relationships so that you can create a directory of all those people. So it's kind of like an address book that you would have on your phone with groups. But this way, we're talking about using it for marketing, for communication, and for your business. So there's no reason why you can't add all of the people that you know into the database, organize them using these tags, and then by using the tags, create views for different purposes. It's a very powerful way to think about your data. So I'm going to go ahead and back here and turn this filter off, clear all, and apply this. And I'm going to go back. Actually, I didn't even need to do that, really. I'm just going to go back up to my default view, which is Smart View All Contacts. And there we go. And I'll reset it to the one that I use the most. Now, like I said, yours is going to probably be different because I'm always tweaking my view depending on the way that I want to see my work. So that's something that's really important. Now, on the far right-hand side of every contact, there's a little ellipses set, little 3 buttons off to the right. And that column doesn't go anywhere, no matter if you scroll left or right. You can see that column over here is always visible. And that's because there's additional actions that you can perform without even having to go into the contact. And you can click on that little ellipses, and you can edit them, add an activity, make a copy and share. I'll come back to that in a moment. Add a note, archive them, view the smart plans that have been attached to this contact, add them to a smart plan, or mark them as a lead. Now, some of these things are a little bit further down the line for us, but I do want to talk about this make a copy and share for a moment. So I clicked on the record for Aaron here. And so I can come over. Actually, you know what? Let me be more specific. I'll search for myself in here, okay? And when I do that, Robert Vincent, this is, you guys saw earlier that attended the earlier class. This is Robert Vincent, a contact at 100% completeness where all of the details have been filled out. If I go to the right here and I click on those 3 ellipses and I say that I want to share this contact, I make a copy and share. I can send this contact with all of the contact information, not the transactional history, not the notes, none of the activities, but the contact information, like an index card. I can send that to anyone inside the Portsmouth area, my team, or outside into my referral network. So let's say if I look in the Portsmouth database here, and David, I think you are, let's see, the AV ID. And I think you are in my system. So let's go down here and let's keep going. These down in there. Where are you, David? Maybe it's in the 463. Hold on. David. No. Wow, Dave, are you not in my database? How's that possible?
I'm stealthy.
There, you're here. There you are. So David, all right. David, you're in the system. You and I are not connected in databases, but because we all share the KW, we're talking about Keller Williams command here, I can find you in the system and I can go ahead and share my contact information with you by clicking this button. And it's going to send you a notification on your bell. So if you go up to your bell notification, and depending on how long it takes, did it arrive already? Go ahead and unmute, David.
Not yet.
Okay. Keep an eye out for it. It may come in your email or it may come in the bell notifications here. But what I've done is I've basically put this so that it's going to end up in your database. And I can do that with any of my contacts. Now, in my purposes, this is a great way for me to share my information with another agent. If you are doing this as an agent, you might want to share a contact with someone in your referral network. And you saw that one of the options there when they make a copy and share was to put them into your referral network, which is a class that we're going to be doing this afternoon, how to grow your referral network. So this ability to share a contact is really powerful because now you don't have to worry about, hey, write this down. The guy's name is David. He's over at I think he's in Portsmouth. I think the phone number is 1234, whatever. You're sending the actual information. So this is a really cool tool to be able to share that across. Okay. Now, having said that and having done that, the value of that contact is really dependent on how much information you have put into that contact card. So here is that Robert Vincent that I shared. And again, the timeline opportunities, the smart plans, tasks, notes, none of this information on the right-hand side is going to go over, but the contact itself will. Pretty cool, but only cool if we have information that's valid to the agent that we're giving it to. So let's talk about that. And we're going to create a contact in a moment, but I want to go through this particular view because you're going to see that all of the information that we look at here is in the create contact dialog box. And of course, it starts with the name. First things first, the name is not two fields. It's one field. It's a full name field. It doesn't have a separate field for first name and then for last name. So keep that in mind as you're looking at this. The next thing here, it also shows you right below it, the last contact was 3 days ago. Of course, we talked about that health score. I've got 100% health. I mentioned that earlier today, but we're going to go a little bit more in to see why that ended up being such a high score. Underneath that, we have the option to mark this contact as a lead versus a contact. This is sometimes a little bit confusing for people, but I want you to think of it this way. If you have not earned the right to speak with someone about your real estate business, if someone just gives you a name and they say, hey, you got to go talk to John Smith. Do you know John Smith? No. Go talk to John Smith. That's a lead where they give you a name and the information, but you have not spoken to them yet. Once you reach out to them, if you are able to develop a relationship and you gain consent to continue the conversation, that lead now becomes a contact, just a contact in your database. Now you can nurture your leads, people that you haven't met, by sending out emails and sending out marketing messages as literally, hey, I'm introducing myself. I'd love to talk with you. Please reach out to me. So it's a one-way conversation and you're trying to engage them. If you mark contacts as leads in the system, this will be visible on the front page. So I'll go ahead and mark Robert Vincent as a lead and I'll go back a page here and you can see that now the name of this person has a little green L just to the right of their name. This also means that I could create a filter to show me the people that I have put into my database that I have not developed a relationship with. So I can look at just my leads. And by clicking on that, I can then market to them, put them into mailing groups, and kind of separate them so that I don't send them out messages for things that, messages that would involve an ongoing communication. So that's something to really pay attention to because you will be receiving leads through the Facebook ad campaigns that you run, through the social campaigns that you run, through your mobile app. When people sign up on your mobile app, there's a bunch of ways that people can get to you. If you buy leads on Zillow, if you buy them on Facebook, or if you buy them from Boom Boom, all of them come in. They're automatically imported into your database and they're marked this way so that you see them right off the bat.
So let me ask real quick.
Sure.
Let me ask real quick. A lead is someone that you've got that you haven't contacted with,
Yes.
or has contacted you.
Correct.
Okay.
Another short way to think of it in just a simple word is unmet. Okay. So an unmet is what you market to differently, and you want to turn them into a met. So when you're working with that contact and you're here on the contact card, the moment that you get the sense that you've got a two-way communication, you can say, okay, I've got a communication going, so I'll unmark that, get them out of the lead pool, and start developing the conversation. And at the end of the day, you want as few people to stay in your lead pool. You want them out of that pool so that you're generating a relationship with them. Okay, so underneath our little mark for lead, we have the tags that we can assign, and we can create tags on the fly. We can add existing tags, or we can use existing system tags. And this class is not about tags, so I'm going to gently just kind of gloss over them. Think of them as groups, putting multiple people into groups. Do not use a tag to identify somebody uniquely. So, for example, Robert Vincent, scar on the left side of his head as a tag. You wouldn't want to do that because that's not going to group him with anybody for any purpose. Yes, it's an identifying mark. You can put that down in the description if you'd like. So you don't want to use anything that is individually identifying, because this is for marketing, for grouping, for lead generation, not lead generation, for any kind of branding, things like that. So tags are for grouping like people together. For example, the people at Market Center Leadership, people who like swimming pools, people who are interested in Portsmouth, that kind of thing. Now, Mac users have one cool thing that happens on their phone number here. And that is, in the phone number, if you click on the phone number here, the Mac has a built-in dialer, FaceTime. And so you can actually make a phone call directly from your computer without having to pick up anything. You just talk right to your computer. Now, you don't need to use the camera part of it like a Zoom meeting. You can just use FaceTime audio. And this is really cool if you're really trying to be productive, because quite frankly, FaceTime audio is really, really good. And you're also most likely going to be sitting still at your desk when you're doing this, not necessarily mobile. So if you want a really high quality sound going out to your customers to make calls, if your phone gets a little crackly, if you've got kind of wonky reception, use the FaceTime on your Mac, and you'll be using the Wi-Fi to get that call to go out. PC users, unfortunately, you'll have to download a third-party dialer, and those can be a little bit iffy, only because there's nothing that Microsoft has built into the system that allows you to do this. Now, Windows 11 did just come out, so I can't speak to whether or not Windows 11 has a dialer built into it. It might, and if that's the case, that would be awesome. I do have Windows 11 on a virtual machine that I'm running, but I have not tested the dialer. So that's something I'm going to need to test. But losing that part, if you wanted to pick up your phone, when you click on the phone number, you can just go right here and you can say, all right, well, maybe I'll use my phone to make that call. No problem. You can just pick up your phone, make the call, and you can just put in here, because it's already logging the date and the time, you can specify whether this was just a generic call, a call that was for a meeting, something where you want to put some information about an email you're going to put together for this person, or a text, or just a quick note. So you have options on what you label this conversation. But the biggest important part is making a note of what happened during your conversation in the description area, so that you don't have to worry about writing it down later or remembering it at a different time. And by doing that, you can put this on your timeline, and it will automatically add it in there, and you can record it for this, not record the audio, but record the information and add it directly to your timeline. And here it is. Tuesday, October 19th, the call was made at 1:07, and here's the note that I put in there into the call description. Very powerful stuff. Again, this is something that Tim and I talked about this morning on the quick start. Doing this here now Saves you so much time worrying about trying to find a sticky note, trying to find a notebook, finding a pen. The system is designed to help you work smart and fast and accurate. Now you have a record of the phone call that you just made. Okay. I love that feature for the phone calls there. Now, also on the phone, just to continue this here, you can also send a text out with Twilio. A Twilio account is a third-party account that you can add into using integrations command. It's designed for text messaging individuals, so we can click on this, and I have a Twilio account. Using my phone number, I can send out a message. Just thought I'd check in with you and to see if you were going to attend the Halloween trick-or-treat at the office this weekend. So I can send that message to myself and just boom, send it. I can also drop images. Maybe I've got an image or a document that I want to send somebody via text for them to just quickly look at without having them to open up their email. Or maybe it's an image of an open house that I wanted somebody to see. And I can just quickly, boom, click that, send it off. And quite literally, we'll see how long this takes to flash across. And it's... Is it going? Let's see if it goes. There it is. So I got my little text message, and I'm using the Twilio to do it. So at this point, this allows me to quickly communicate with anyone. So Twilio is a great tool. Again, right from here, Mac or PC, doesn't matter. Same thing for the Gmail here. If you're using Gmail, when you click on a contact's email in command, it will immediately do this. It will open up an email for you to load in here and type a message. So hello, and then just checking in. Okay, and then boom, we'll say, oh, I'll just put something in there. Send that off. The email goes out. Boom, done. And now I can come back to my command, and that email has gone out. So it may take some time for an email. Oh, that's the text message, but there's my little text message I just sent out. It may take some time for the email to populate in here. Now we have had, I'll be totally honest with you, down in Texas there, they've been working on that email logging here. We had for a while, it looks like it's still doing it, where it didn't actually log the email itself in here, and you ended up having to go to your email client afterwards to open it. But they've been telling us that it should be fixed soon. So what you will see here shortly is there will be an email that shows that it was sent from this account. So you can keep all your emails together. So sending an email from the contact just by clicking on their email account. Okay, so I'm going to skip over a couple things here. We're going to talk about the neighborhoods because the neighborhoods are part of one of the most powerful smart plans, the Keep in Touch Monthly Neighborhood Nurture Plan. So if you add neighborhoods that a person is interested in or currently lives in and put them on the smart plan called Monthly Neighborhood Nurture, in this plan, what this does, and I'll do a monthly nurture, N-U-R-T-U-R-E. This monthly or bi-weekly nurture will send out an email branded with you every 2 weeks or every month, and it will automatically let them know of any new properties that have been listed in those neighborhoods. You don't have to do anything but these 3 clicks. You click Smart Plan, choose your nurture, and hit Start Now. And then boom, confirm it. And now that smart plan is headed out. And the first one is going to go out right now. And it's going to show me Islington Creek, Central Portsmouth, Downtown Portsmouth, South End Pipeline, any new homes that have come available in those areas. And it will show me on the right-hand side that I am now subscribed, though this person is now subscribed to those monthly nurtures. And if they call you and say, hey, listen, I saw a house in there. I really, really like that house. And you come back to your contact card here and you're like, oh yeah, that's great. Let's talk about that. So you pick up the phone, you say, let me call them. And you call them to talk about that specific plan or that house. You can actually click this button. And what this means is it will remove them from that smart plan so they don't continue to receive it, because now you're engaging with them about a house or a particular property. So now it will stop that plan and it will let you guys have that discussion. You can always add them back to the plan or another plan later. But this kind of takes that pressure off of constantly bombarding them with new information when you're trying to have a conversation about one particular property. So this little has responded in your phone call area disables this smart plan going forward. Very smart stuff. It really is kind of cool how well they thought about that. In the neighborhoods area, adding neighborhoods is quite simply a matter of just clicking the Add Neighborhood button, searching for a neighborhood either by name or city, or finding it on a map. By clicking the map here, you can actually just zoom in, and any one of these little green neighborhoods can be added. So if I find that they're looking for someplace up here, Frank Jones Farm, I can click on that. It puts a checkbox in there, and now I have added Frank Jones Farm to their area. So Frank Jones Farm shows up, and now because I've done that, that smart plan, the next time it goes out, is going to add any new properties from the Frank Jones Farm. The idea behind this smart plan integration with their information in their contact card, you are marketing to them in your sleep by doing this, by setting up neighborhoods, areas they're interested in, and attaching them to a plan that's already built into the system. You don't have to make this. This exists. By doing that, you're literally marketing in your sleep. It's a great tool, and it's very, very powerful. Okay, continuing down the contact card, we get into the additional contact information. You have the ability to specify a preferred method of contact, in this case, email, a secondary email, up to 4 emails, 4 different phone numbers to reach them at, a home address and mailing address, which you can also add extra addresses to. These apply specifically, especially for the mailing address. You can build marketing materials in the design applet in Command and have them automatically mailed directly from Command to their house. So marketing materials can go right out of here and sent directly through physical mail to this address. So if this is in here, you can do that. If you don't have that address in there, you're not going to be able to send them anything because you don't have the address. Legal name, a way for you to track it so that if you're dealing with somebody who has multiple names and they want to have the legal name on a document, you can use that. Social profiles, just think of these as links. The word social profile is kind of outdated. These are just links. So I have a YouTube channel. I have a Zoom channel. I've got a calendar to book with my time with. I've got a Facebook group here. Any of that information that you can use to gain a better understanding of your client is just that. It's a better understanding of your client. So we talked about this morning as well in the quick start, how, keeping track of what's going on with somebody. If you're about to make a phone call and you've got their Facebook group in here or their Facebook page, if you just click on that, it will open up that page, and I'll go to my my personal Facebook page here, which is for my Keller Williams page. By doing this and going here and just kind of getting caught up on some of the things. Oh, look, Robert's holding a class today. I could probably talk to him about that class. It was Tuesday, October 19th. There you go. Maybe a couple days ago. Oh, looks like he did DocuSign. He did some stuff here, and there's a tech lab. So you're getting familiar with them before you make that phone call. Again, becoming the expert of choice for them. Down on the bottom, you have a description area, which you can load in any information you want about this person, personal notes, if you will, that are part of the person, not part of any activities that you're working on. It says here, Robert is the Market Center Technical Trainer for Portsmouth. Just a little bit of a blurb about them. Their birthday, their anniversary, their relationships, which we're going to go over when we talk about it in the contact card, the company where they work, and their title. This is the final piece of the puzzle. If you have that information, you'll get to 100%. Why would you need that? Well, maybe knowing that information helps you understand where they might be looking to live, relocate to, or any other just generic or geographic information. It would help you understand more about your contact. Okay. So that's the walkthrough on the card. Let me show you really quickly what it looks like when we create one. I'm going to go back to the contact area, and I'm not going to hit edit on an existing one. I'm going to show you a card from the scratch here. So I clicked on the upper right-hand corner here, add contact underneath my username. And it brings up exactly what we just saw. So this is going to be Robert, we'll call him Vincent, so that I have a different name here. And here's where that add relationship comes in. That add relationship dialog box allows you to attach one record of one contact to another person in your database. Even if they're not currently in your database, you can add them manually here, or you can come in here and you can type in a name of a person and say, okay, well, this person, maybe they're related in family or they're related in business. You can determine how they're related. Now, why does this matter? Because if, for example, if this was a business partner and these two people were going to buy a property through commercial property or otherwise, by creating this relationship here, when you create an opportunity, you have the option of specifying the second person, the co-borrower, the co-buyer, the co-seller, co-leasee, that you could put this in here without having to go back and start again or create something from scratch. It automatically gives you that opportunity to create that relationship. And I'm getting an unusual refresh on the page here. Today has been a very odd day for command. Look at this. Still getting a refresh. I did see on the Facebook group between classes here that somebody was complaining about the designs area not working, but I didn't think that would impact us here.
You can add as many relationships as you want.
No, you are limited to 5.
Okay.
Okay. So John. Oh, no, sorry. John. Okay, it will say business. Boom. So now you'll notice though, David, that you don't have the option to add another relationship right here. It's actually further down. So the primary relationship goes up at the top, and then the secondary relationships can be added in the bottom area. So of course you have an email here that you can put in, and I'm just going to put something at Gmail. Phone number. That's a little too many phone numbers. Okay. So we can specify business or personal or whatever we want for these. Then we can also come down here and say, where did this person come from? So we talked about those whole lead things. Whether we mark them as a lead or not is up to us. We can do that manually here. But we can say we got them from Boom Boom. We got them from Boomtown. We got them from Facebook. We got them from a network event that I attended. So we can specify where they came from. And we will not be, also you can specify if they came from an existing contact in your database. Maybe John Morgan referred this person to me. So I could do that. I could say it's someone from my database and say John Morgan. So not only is John Morgan a business partner of this person, but they're also the person who referred them to me. Okay, so we mark as a lead if we want to. We can also, I don't want you to ever really use this because this is actually a feature that is no longer necessary. So I'm just going to say don't use the add to sales pipeline. It actually slows you down. If this person is a contact you're adding because you're going to do an opportunity right away, it's faster to not use this than it is to do that. Tags, maybe they're commercial. And if that tag doesn't exist, which it does, I can just add it here. And now I have a commercial, an opportunity for them. Now, all that other stuff that we saw in the contact card falls into the add more information. So when we go through here, some of the stuff that we can add is the preferred method of contact. Maybe they prefer text. The additional email. So here you can see here, here's where I can add additional email and phone numbers. I can also add the primary address, and I can specify that it's the same as the mailing address, and I can add up to 4 additional addresses. So primary, mailing, and then 4 more. Social profiles, I can add up to 5 social profiles, and we just call these links, really. They can be any kind of link. They can be a link that's only for you, to like maybe a link to some documents or some information that you reference when you're dealing with this client, or something about them. The about section is where we get into where we can put the legal name. This is where you had that description of me where I said it was the Market Center Technical Trainer. Adding their birthday and home anniversary allows us to be triggered through the system to know when those dates are coming up, so that we can send off an email and say happy anniversary or happy birthday, so that we can send out a physical card, keeping in touch with your clients. Okay, so here's the relationships. Right now, we had the one at the top. This would be number 2. And I'm just going to go ahead and type some people here and show you that I can add another relationship here, add more. Let's see, how many can we get here? I think it's 5. So there's 1, 2. So 1, 2 up at the top, 3, 4, 5. So a total of 5. Here's their company name and job title. If we have that information, excellent. And then finally, there is the option to create fields where none exist. So if you want to create custom fields because you need information for your business that isn't available anywhere in the system, you can add a custom field for that contact. Pretty powerful stuff, wouldn't you agree? I think you would. Having all that information really means nothing unless you're going to use it. So that's what we're going to talk about now when we start talking about the information on the right side of the contact. So here's that contact card, my 100%. The first thing we see on the right-hand side is a timeline, and this is going to show you all the activity that you have with this contact. So in today, I've got that little subscribe to a thing. Oh, there's that email that popped up. So the email pops up here, and I got to reconnect my email. That's why it was taking so long. So that email popped up along with the smart plan and the text message that I sent them and the phone call. So all of that information shows up in the timeline, which is sortable and filterable based on the activities and the date ranges. You can also jump right out of this contact card and view your calendar so that you can make an appointment with them if necessary. So you have direct access to your calendar through Gmail, Google Calendar, by clicking that button. If you want to make an appointment with them, you can come down to the bottom right-hand corner and click the plus sign and choose Add Calendar Event. Now I want you to watch what happens here. This is, again, because we have enough information about our contact. When I click this button, it opens up my calendar immediately and populates an appointment with the contact name, Robert Vincent. It automatically loads their email, so I don't have to go searching around for it. And it puts that appointment at the next closest hour to where I'm at right now. So you will have to change the date. Maybe you want to do it on Friday at 2:30. So you can do that. You can also set it up to use any of the Google Meet or any other resources that you want. Now, when you do this and hit save, that not only saves it to your calendar, so I set that up for Friday afternoon, and where did I put that guy? 2:30. So there it is. It's a little short thing in there that's for 2:30. So now that is in there, and I don't think I put my regular calendar on there. It's in there somewhere. But now check this out. In addition to that, if I come back to my contact and I refresh it here, well, again, it's going to take a minute. That should show my calendar event here as well. Now, the real business of doing opportunities and doing business with these contacts is right here. So the contact themselves, and this is something that I'll be talking about when we do the opportunities class next week. To create an opportunity for a contact, you always go to the contact first. And the reason is because that's going to be where all of the opportunities, all of the information about the transaction is going to be, is in the contact. So if we start at the contact level and we go to opportunities, we can see any of the ones that have already been created, or we can create one right from here, saving you, again, a ton of time. Clicking the opportunity button, I'm not going to go through this. I did this once this morning, and it's going to be something we're going to be talking about tomorrow, or next week, I'm sorry. So I'm not going to go through the opportunity creation process, but remember, we did one this morning and it looks like this. We had the opportunity, we created it, we had it all set up for our documentation. We used DocuSign to get all that signed and ready to go, all from the contact card. And with immediate access from the opportunity right back to the contact, so we never lose track of the contact or where we are. All of our smart plans, multiple smart plans can be added to a contact at any given time. Any tasks that we need to perform, that we need to follow up on for this contact, can be managed right from here, as well as the home screen. Let me jump back to the home screen for a second. The home screen has all of our tasks that are upcoming and, in fact, past due. In addition, the tasks applet also has all of the tasks that we need to get done. So all of these things came from, adding them either on those screens or adding them directly in a contact to their task area. These tasks, when we create one, can consist of marking it as a call task, giving it a name, a description, a priority level, a due date and time, and one of my favorite things, links. Using links in tasks allows you to add a link to an MLS, to a web page, to an event, to anything that you want that's referencing or regarding this contact and this discussion or task, making it super easy for you to work quicker. Now, as we know, there's nothing that's not on the web these days. Finding a downloaded anything is just it's kind of an old school way of thinking. So everything happens on the web. Your business is happening on the web. So this could be a link to another page anywhere for the business that you're doing with this contact. Very powerful. All right, I'm going to skip notes for a second because I'm going to come back to that at the very end. That's the last topic for what we're going to talk about. And I have a thing here called saved searches. Now, saved searches are a way for me to go into a contact and create a manually built, custom, bespoke search for exactly what they're looking for and have it emailed to them on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. Now, this is different from the monthly neighborhood nurture in that the nurture is just taking the information about the neighborhood. Now, there could be a 2-bedroom house or a 12-bedroom house in the neighborhood nurture, but that may be completely out of what they're looking for. They might be looking for a studio apartment. By using the create saved search, I am focused on what they want, not just shotgunning all of the stuff that's available. This tool can go to them with or without them downloading your app and having them connect to you with the app. So, for example, if I search here and I say that I want to search by zip code, I'll enter a zip code of 03801, and that zip code is for Portsmouth. And I could put multiple in here if I want. Property criteria, maybe they have a minimum and a maximum. So the maximum, let's go, you got 250. And the keywords, I'm going to skip that for now because the pool, yard, stuff like that. Property type, what are we looking for? Here's all the ones that we can have. So I can uncheck the ones that I don't want. I'll leave it all in there for now. Listing status, is it for sale, active, pending, coming soon? I can specify what I want there. Bedrooms, so let's say we want to do 1+. Well, that kind of makes sense. Baths, it's got to have at least 4 baths on a 1-bedroom. Just kidding. That's funny because that'd be a little hilarious. So year built, and I can specify that. Living area, minimum living area, maximum. Has parking, open house only. Price reduced, greater or less than 7 days from the time this goes out. So all of those things. So I'll go ahead and click next. I say, okay, this custom search is for small place, big bathroom. And I can send it out to this person automatically, and I can get them email notifications and how instant, daily, weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. Awesome. So if I save this, I'll go ahead and send it out instant right now. Create the save search. Boom. 250 or less in the Portsmouth area. I'm guessing there's not then in Portsmouth for 250 or less. So maybe I need to modify that. Maybe I need to modify that to 999,000 because now we're getting into the area where you can see some things. Save it. Boom. It goes out and it's coming through to me as we speak because that is my email address. That tool can, when you set it up, can be that instant communication that somebody says to you in a little passing. Yeah, I was thinking about down in Portsmouth, but I'm not going to spend over $1 million. That's ridiculous. Really? How many bedrooms are you interested in? Oh, yeah, a couple. I'm going to tell you this afternoon what houses are available based on that conversation. So customized, bespoke searches. Now let's talk about notes. Notes might seem...
Can I ask you a quick question? The searches that you're doing, you could put a specific area and it's a search, and then you can tell it. Does it also send something to you? So I know you're searching for somebody else, but does it send a copy to yourself so that you know that what was sent? That makes sense.
David, that is a really, really, really good question. My understanding is the answer, based on what I've seen here, the answer would be no. It does not send you a copy of what they are receiving, which is a very good observation, because if they call you on that property, something that shows up in their search, you don't necessarily know what it is. That's an incredibly valuable observation.
So you could do, I guess the way around that is you can do one for yourself, right?
True.
And do the same one for the person that you're looking for.
And while that is entirely true, I don't like that solution. So I'll tell you what
I don't either.
On your behalf, I'm going to go over to, I'll finish this later, but ideas.kw.com is where we can submit ideas for that very specific thing. So I'll bet you if I searched that it probably does exist in there and I can promote it. So I would say that is a very, an important observation that we should be able to CC ourselves on that.
Okay.
So I'll put that in for you because I think that's a good one.
Thank you.
All right. So now let's talk about this last one here, this notes area. And I'm just going to use one note just to quickly demonstrate the power here. So I'm going to click Add Note. And I'm going to add a note saying Dropbox. And I'm going to put in here in the description a Dropbox URL. Okay. And in this URL, I can put in the location of a Dropbox folder for this contact. So let me go over here to my Dropbox. And in my Dropbox, I have a thing for, where is it? For my contact. Oh, it's in the KW. Okay. We'll go ahead and do this. Open up that. Go to folder. If I create a folder on Dropbox for this customer and these transactions, maybe it's not something that needs to go into Dotloop or DocuSign yet, or any reason why I would want to have documents associated with this contact. And the reason I say this is because right now, today, there is no ability to store documents inside of a contact. We can store documents for a transaction, but maybe the documents that I have are not related to a transaction, but I just want to keep them in one place. I can put in my Dropbox URL note the actual URL for that exact folder for that person. So let's say here that the folder itself, I'll come back to Rocket Sands and I'll say it's going to be this folder. Okay. I'll use this one because I want to come back to this specific folder. and I paste that URL into a note inside of the contact, and I hit save. Now I have a note, and all I have to do to get to that Dropbox is select that note, right click, and say go to, and my system will take me directly to that folder. Why is that so cool, and why is that so important? Well, the links down at the bottom here need to be specified full URLs, and they don't hold things like logins. Like this one requires a login. So this is not going to do the same thing. These basically are public URLs. This is something where the note box area doesn't care that there's a login process, and it will properly log you in or require you to log in depending on how you got there. And because we don't have a folder or a tool to save documents, we can use multiple notes for multiple places and multiple documents. And I want to demonstrate that with another contact in my database here. And that is this contact, Jackie Studio. Oops, one of the contacts that I use all the time. So I'll go ahead and open up Jackie. And in Jackie's area over on the right-hand side here, in the timeline, I can go to the notes, and I have created a Google Drive folder, a Dropbox folder, a Trello card, a DocuSign room for the transaction, and a send to DocuSign note for myself. So these tools, let's go to the Google Drive. So if I go right here and I just select this and say go to, it opens up the Google Drive. There's all the documents for that contact. No hassle, no worries, quick access. If I want to go to a Trello card, or if I want to go to the DocuSign room for this transaction, go to the room. Pops me right into the room, into that transaction, where I can store documents as well. I think that Notes is one of the most underutilized tools because you can do so much with it in addition to just keeping notes here. It's a really very smart way of working. When you put it all together here, your contact area, which I haven't even left to do this entire hour, is connected to everything in your database. It's connected to all of the opportunities, all of the marketing, all the web consumer tools. It's connected to designs. It's connected to everything. If you use it properly and if you fill it out, keeping your timeline filled with things that are going on will make it so that you never have to worry about where is the information for customer X. And it is really a very powerful tool. At the end of the day, this is a database. It's a CRM tool, customer resource management. Use it as such, and you will find yourself being very productive and very highly efficient because you don't have to worry about multiple places for information about your contacts. So I'll pause there. Any questions as we kind of wrap this one up?
Yes, one. You talked about dictation. Is that an app that you purchased for yourself?
In my case, actually, you know what? In both cases, on the Mac and the PC, they now include dictation standard. If you go on are you PC or Mac?
Mac.
Okay. To use your dictation on your Mac, I set mine up to the shortcut key, my control key on my Mac, which is in my lower left-hand corner. All I have to do is tap that 3 times in a row. So if I go into a note, for example, and I just put 1, 2, 3, it automatically opens up my dictation and starts capturing whatever I'm saying. Okay. So if you turn it on and then set it up to whatever shortcut you want, tap 1, 2, 3, it'll start recording, and it just does it. Now, sometimes it's not perfect. I'm not going to lie. None of these things are truly.
So it's on the Mac. It's on the Mac already.
Hmm.
It's on the Mac already.
Yep, already loaded into your Mac. It's under. I think it's under accessibility. I'm going to go ahead and bring mine up and see if I can find out exactly where it is. Dictation. Dictation is under keyboard. So if you go to keyboard in your Mac under your system tools and go to the far right, there's a keyboard text, shortcuts, input sources, and dictation. On the PC, if you just type in dictation, it will tell you where the dictation is in there as well.
Okay.
It does take a little bit of getting used to, and it's kind of like when you hear yourself talking, sometimes you evaluate what you're hearing, so you kind of have to ignore what you're seeing on the screen as it dictates and just say your thought and then look at it afterwards, because it can get a little bit like you start to read while you're trying to speak. But I'm getting pretty used to it. Even though it's not perfect, it does it a lot faster than I can. All right, you guys, that's going to cover it up for today. One more class this afternoon at 3:00, and that is going to be using your referral network. So that's going to be over on this page, and I'm going to show you all the cool things, including all of the map tools and how to find agents all across the country and all across the world that you can add to your network to grow that network and build your business. So we'll see you then. In the meantime, have an awesome hour, and I will talk to you guys later.
Take care.
Okay, bye.